Hello, everyone. Jump scare. We're getting into game. I'm joined once again by Aja Cannon, HMG versus Dog, and already it is an Omega infused accelerator start alongside Berserker, half and half. And well, we see 3 mags, 1 slicks, and a lot of speed on the side of the Dogs.
That we do. Kind of interesting to see the Berserker pickup, but I think a lot of people... Oh, Milkman, no! With the strike shot. Unfortunate way to start the game off, but not too bad just yet. They do manage to kill the Kai. Crater Maker goes out, sends it backwards a little bit. Great Hyper Beam there, deployed by Weston. Actually, Luna goes off the map as well, so it's quite the exciting first point here. Strike shot comes out, but Zay is not quite able to get a pickup on it. Milkman trying to buy a lot of time on this one. 3 seconds until Luna is back on the field. Molten Bolt gets the Kai away from the core for a second there, and the strike war is won. We do have Nikki Minola taking a lot of damage, but no, so far no kill onto this Dubu just yet. Piercing shot going to go a little bit wide. It's going to be the kill onto the Dubu. Luna taking him out there. Crater Maker interrupted by a barrage there. Strike shot and the shotgun as well from Milkman. Zay trying to get it around and over to the goal. Piercing shot again, not quite getting connection. Rose Warp as well, keeping it forward. Rocket not going to find the connection either. They're just so close to getting this in, but not quite. Weston is just positioning really well against the Stoker Fortress as well, being deployed there. It's almost time for the Hyper Beams to deploy here, or to recharge that they could be deployed. Milkman cycling the core around and almost setting the Kai up for the Quangle, but it's actually going to be taking out the Kai there, and Zay Forever sends it into the goal.
Yeah, very well played out by Heavy Metal Gundam opener to this game. And this Inky's Splash Zone pick, this was actually the Handless, or the Dogslayers 3 pick. So curious to see how they will adapt, as we do actually have, this is the Dubu midfield with the Kai forward, or just, you know, rotating it around. So it's really hard to say at this point.
It'll be Weston, though, being taken off the field. Twisty trying to dribble it forward, trying to get it forward there, but taking a lot of damage. Does manage to dodge out of the way of Josh there, so is not going to be taken out just yet. Piercing shot gets him close, though. One more ability could take the Kai off the field. He's not going to just yet. Estelle has been put in prison for her crimes against humanity, as Twisty gets passed down to the Dubu here. Crater Maker sends it backwards there, but also puts a lot of speed on it, so Milkman got a great clear to the bottom. Eagle Blast goes a little bit wide, unfortunately. Back pass, or rather intercept on the pass from Zay there. Primary comes out from Weston. Strike is really nice there. Counter the Crystal Thorns as well. Molten Bolt keeping it forward as well. Barrage, though, fighting back tooth and nail on the top side of the map here. Piercing shot gets the connection finally onto Weston and the core. Dubu trying to get up on the top side of the map here. Luna coming over through the Hyper Beam as well. Weston trying to get the clear through. Will get it past the piercing shot, but not the rocket just yet. Crater Maker comes out, forces the dodge out of the Dubu. Gets it forward with the primary as well. Core flip there from the Josh there, and unfortunately it does seem that Zay might have disconnected there, so we're just gonna keep on going. But Zay trying to hold on here as he's now back on the field once again.
He's back on the field, has the flip, uses it there, and takes down Twisty along with nearly scoring there. And once again, Zay cooks it up, a good Rose Warp, and sends it right through. Heavy Metal Gundam off to a really strong start.
Yeah. HMG able to get that 2-0 lead. Very important to start off on the right foot there, especially with these teams starting off 0-1 here. So having the opportunity to secure one of these teams, get them to 1-1, being a little bit more comfortable, and then eventually, of course, being the one game up in the series will help a lot with that if they can get it. But of course, it's going to be Twisty taking a lot of damage once again. The Kai, of course, not really well known for his durability, especially when he takes the OIA on that one. As we see Nikki Minola getting the core once again. The Dubu forward putting in quite a bit of work. Stoker Fortress not finding the connection onto the core. Twisty has the core for a split second there, but immediately gets rid of it, not wanting to be pressured too much. Going to take a lot of damage off the back of the Crater Maker. Just doesn't have any evade left over, and it's going to be executed there. Set up there by multiple members of HMG. As we do have Weston getting up to the top, trying to get it to the Dubu. We're actually getting a really good defense there. Zay is not quite able to get the connection, but Josh does. Sending it through with a dash and the strike. A 3-0 sweep here in the first set for HMG.
Already very clear, and I think HMG has found the name of the game. That question is are they going to choose to continue that same way, which is just kill the Kai again and again? And I really want to see, yeah, the bulk up pickup. That's exactly what I want to see here. It'll likely be the team player that actually goes over to Weston here, or they maybe just go for the speed and try to buff things up. But yeah, team player, the missile prop, knowing that it's not ever falling to the Drakkar. We're seeing all the damage come onto the members of HMG so they can continue killing Kai.
Yeah. an opportunity to just take the Kai off the field, execute the midfielder, is always much appreciated by a team that has so much damage already on the Luna, the Estelle, and the Drakkar. So just the more the merrier, get it done faster, have more abilities left over. Crater Maker going to come out as well, getting a lot of evade off of Twisty and Weston both there, as now Twisty doesn't really have any way to survive if the pressure mounts once again. Almost gets the barrier, but not quite, unfortunately. Is going to mean that the barrier still stands. No Hyper Beams to deploy just yet. Nicky Minnow buying a lot of time in this corner here, giving Twisty a chance to regenerate himself a little bit as well. And just, buying a little bit of time there. Nicky Minnow going to take a lot of damage. Is going to be able to dodge the piercing shot and not die to the shotgun, and is going to run all the way back for the goalie orb with the speed from Weston. Good guy Weston helping his forward steal his own orb, as Twisty also gets almost executed. Will with the Crystal Thorns, nice pickup by Zay there. Barrier does get taken as well in the midst of that. Josh goes a little wide on the dash there, and the Ensnare Drums as well comes out. It's going to be another Hyper Beam here, not quite getting the connection. It was really close there as HMG did get a really nice setup, but not quite the connection. Twisty with Giga Blast trying to send it forward, trying to keep it forward here. Gets it up to the Dubu, who somersaults, trying to get it through, but the core flip forced out from the Dubu is going to result in a clear there. Josh holding on to the core flip as well. The Topher Fortress sends it forward. Core flip finally forced out of Luna here. Twisty going to be killed again with the Crystal Thorns there. Zay just keeps on finding the damage here, finding the kill. Dash is not going to get it through the Weston just yet. Core flip from Zay wasted on that one, unfortunately. But piercing shot does finally get that all-important timing right when the core is on top of Weston.
Yeah, I mean, so much damage, so reliably getting it onto Kai, right? Knowing that Kai just has to be on the core to interact with it, and then just says, okay, if you want to be on the core, you're just going to have to eat every single bit of damage that we have, and then they find it so well, but hey, the side of Dog Slayers are looking kind of good here, right? They take the early first barrier. Now, the question is can the side of HMG manage to clear it out? And they find another good strike where they're out by Josh that time. And now the Crater Maker buying some space. A good bit of damage coming onto Weston. Orb denied. And now Weston's looking a little worse for wear. But no abilities here for Zay Forever means that it's going to be really tough for him to make any sort of play. And then Twisty slots it in. Well, when she's not the one being damaged, maybe she can actually play the game.
Yeah. Twisty finally being able to play the game indeed, does find a great strike barrage angle, puts it right through the middle of HMG there. As we see a little bit of a pass down there, great corner clear all the way around. Zay picks it up at the top side here. Rocket goes a little bit wide, strike shot does as well. The clear is finally completed by Weston there, gets it over to Nicky Minnow, and Topher Fortress again going wide. A little bit too eager, a little bit too ambitious on that one. Goes straight through it while it's still deploying. You see Crater Maker once again being used here, just very aggressively, just to get some evasion off of the opponents. Giga Blast, though, the dying breath of Twisty able to secure the barrier, and that actually buys a lot of time as soon as the Hyper Beam can be deployed once again. Weston is going to go for it there. Doesn't actually get the clear into it, but does finally get the clear all the way. Actually, the enemy team completes that, and Josh almost backpasses into his own net there, but is able to keep the play alive. Nicky Millen very low on health. Giga Blast goes a little bit wide, though, unfortunately. Twisty goes up to the top right corner. The Crater Maker gets a lot more energy. Twisty no longer anything left in the tank. Serum comes out and forces the core flip from this Luna, as the core just goes a little bit wide again. The push points as well. Dubu, though, going off the map, and the downtown almost shot from Weston, but does not complete. Core flip as well from Zay, goes straight through.
Yeah, I mean, just reaction checks Twisty completely sent straight through. 2 flips there for Heavy Metal Gundam, so they better really be winning that point, and they definitely did. Now, the question is can they do much more? This Omega Infused Accelerator really not paying dividends for the side of Dog Slayers, as they just keep getting bursted out by the members of HMG. All orbs denied, and except for that one, and then it makes it so difficult to play.
Yeah, and we see more damage again. The Topher Fortress does get a lot of nice things as well. Sets up the barrage nicely, forces up the core flip from the Drakkar. This is the opportunity that the Dog Slayers are looking for here. They're trying to get it through. The Ensnare Drums is nice, but Zay is able to teleport out, but it doesn't matter, as the core just sneaks along that top side. Twisty does sacrifice basically the entire health bar to get that done. But so does the Hyper Beam come out, gets it over to Milkman, and gets over to Nicky Minnow, who logs it into the goal with the Candy Cane.
I think maybe maybe Milkman might have missed that angle there on the corner, was probably looking for that corner angle straight to see if they can cheekily steal out the bottom side of the barrier there. And now we do see Weston taking a good bit of damage here. They're wanting to get rid of the flip, but they might not get a chance to, and it just sneaks right on in. Hold on, wait. Maybe Dog Slayers have a real chance in this game.
Yeah, I mean, they're able to accelerate the plays so that they don't take as much damage on the in-between, forcing the abilities so that HMG has to use them defensively. Just gives a lot more opportunity here. And we have Kai able to potentially pick up the Reptile Remedy, peak performance for a little bit more health, or even just deny something with the Prize Fighter, although I don't think that's going to happen. Reptile Remedy is going to be the play, as we see Kai, Twisty, potentially looking to maybe actually live. It's really difficult into this comp, but Reptile Remedy might be the one to let him do it.
Yeah, heavy impact here actually a little interesting. I think I would have actually preferred the prize fighter almost on the Luna here instead of the heavy, but I think heavy is still solid. And yeah, peak deny is very smart here by Zay, right? It scales with the bulk. It also is just more stagger that you take away from the enemies, and now there is no more stagger left in the draft.
Yeah, does mean that there is a lot less survivability, but it also means that there are other things that can be picked up, because it's one of those things where, you know, if you're on the back foot, you want to take the staggers that you can live, but it means you're going to be giving up other things as well. So opportunity here for some playing to win rather than just playing to live, although it is a little bit risky at times. Weston using a lot of speed there, trying to get his teammates in front of the net, and they actually will. Nicky Minilin with the help of Twisty, and of course Weston's speed means it's going to go straight through once again. And of course, you know, Drakar, great goalie. Zay on the defense as well with midfield, but Dubu is just a really good offensive brawler if you're able to just get in front of the net. He just has so many tools, as Twisty also is able to just run barely out of the Crater Maker there.
Yeah, and yeah, Twisty looking a little worse for wear. No evade also available for her. And a lot of damage coming in through by HMG. Milkman, no strike there actually, so the side of dogs are looking pretty good here. Now, question is can they find this clear? It's looking a little awkward. It gets back up to Nicky, and there's the Tofu Fortress. It cordons Milkman off into the corner, killing him as well.
Yeah, the execution on Drakar finally paying back HMG for all of the damage they've been dealt. And it's looking like the Dog Slayers are going to be doing a little bit more. They're up 2-0 right now. Don't want to jinx them too hard, but they're finding a little bit more. Twisty, though, does get found out on that one. Crater Maker not quite able to get out of the way of the Crater Maker, and some great passes here from HMG means they're going to get the core forward, but Nicky Minilin finds the angle to get it all the way around, stalls out the play a little bit longer. Core flip from Zay countered really nicely there by the side of Dog. As we see Nicky Minilin trying to run down to the bottom side here, gets hit by the piercing shot, and the core just flies on in. Josh getting it. Even from inside the prison, didn't need to invest the core flipper or anything.
Yeah, I think very smart by Weston there just to hold the flip, right? You're still up 2-1, so you have at least one more, at least two more, or most two more, ideally only one more point to work with, so the flip has potential to be really powerful there. Now, this is a very dangerous spot as Josh gets the flip out, gets a good Rose Orb actually passed back, a counter flip there to deny anything. Now Nicky, she has the flip, but the wall, it's right there. She can't flip through her own wall, but instead she still gets this barrier with the log, but her health situation not looking great with no evade. And now a great Giga Blast camouflaged by the Hydro Pump. Really well played by Twisty.
Yeah, Twisty finds a crazy angle off of that. Milkman was not expecting that, and even if you do, there's only so much you can do. Maybe hit like a frame-perfect dodge or something, but it is going to be a lot available in this one. We get something like a Siege Machine on the Dubu, even just among Titans, so he's super fast and runs all over the place. So many options here for him to choose from.
Yeah, the prime time is actually very worrying, and I think Josh realizes that, picking it up for himself, denies it away from Twisty, and now aerials for Drakar, hotshot denied away from the Estelle. Very smart there actually by Weston, because I think hotshot on Estelle here is potentially game losing, funnily enough. And yeah, it's as you said, right? The Among Titans on to Nicky Minilin. That's going to be a funny one.
Yeah, and I mean, especially when you're dealing with a kill comp, it sounds kind of weird, but in a way, speed is survivability. You're just able to dodge out of the way of everything, especially giant telegraphed abilities like the Crater Maker. Crystal Thorns, though, from Zay Forever, does secure barriers. The other barriers secure, and that's going to be Zay getting executed, though, in the Hyper Beam. Twisty trying to go forward with the barrage, the log as well from Nicky Minilin. Not found. Great passing back and forth here. Nicky just puts it up into the top there. And even with the last Hyper Beam from Milkman, just not going to really do anything. When Dog gets the kill, they really are able to just run away with the game.
And hey, it's looking really good for them, right? This first set, and honestly, the first half of the second set was an absolute stomp out by Heavy Metal Gundam, but ever since then, the Dogslayers have looked really, really good as they found their way to live, and because they found their way to live, that means that they're able to actually core control and they're able to play the game.
Yeah, and it also puts a little bit of pressure because then you force the other team to start playing a little bit more defensively, which means that they're not going to be getting as many kills. Giga Blast almost just takes Zay out there. as Weston gets a great defense into piercing shot, and Nicky Millen rolls out of the way of the rocket. Really nice to see on that one, but the barrier does go down in the end. HMG looking to potentially score here and turn things around. Piercing shot, rocket, not going to be enough. Josh unfortunately sends it right to Weston on that one. Twisty taking a lot of damage, but isn't going to go down just yet. The Molten Bolt from downtown, though, that extra range from the aerial is really coming in clutch. As Twisty not going to die just yet, but will with the rocket from Josh, finds the angle between Nicky and Weston just to hit Kai. As we see Weston trying to keep things alive. The hotshot actually pays dividends on this one. Log forward. Nicky Millen not able to get the barrier, but does get a lot more time. Kai now back on the field. Twisty not able to counter the core flip, but it does not go into the goal there. Core flip from Nicky, unfortunately wasted on that one. As Weston tries to send it up to the top, will actually get it through the Giga as well. Countered by a rocket. Both of these teams are just going tooth and nail on this one. Milkman able to get the shotgun out of the way on that one. Core flip from Zay down to the bottom is going to put the first goal of the set in for HMG. Dogs still fairly comfortable though.
Yeah, I mean, Dog's looking pretty okay, but look at the energy situation. Yeah, I mean, Luna did just use that Crater Maker, so she won't have it available for a little bit. But the energy situation is really not looking good. But the fact that they're able to even stay alive is a testament to itself, right? They're able to make sure that they're able to get these points, that they don't lose on the spot, and it's just really well played by the Dogs.
Yeah, even forcing out the core flip there from Milkman, using the snare drums as well to go a little bit wide for it, but just the investment on these abilities, just knowing when to push the play and knowing when to pull back when you're Twisty and you're almost about to die. Great survivability there. Hyper Beam.
Wow.
Gets it right forward, and a great piercing shot takes the core out, takes Twisty out. And that is going to be another goal here. 1 point away from tying up the sets is HMG.
I mean, hey, I guess that's the way you win, right? You start damaging someone, you throw the core at the person you're damaging. Well, now they're forced to interact with it, so they can't just run away. And, well, they're also forced to suffer the damage that comes from interacting with it. And we see that once again. They're finally finding their damage again onto Twisty. She's completely staggered. And, oh, no, I think that was that perfect pitch that actually clears it there by Weston. Otherwise, I think the barrier does go down. And now this nuke a little bit dangerous. Josh collects it with the boost. A good back and forth pass sequence by Josh and Milkman. Now, looking at the flips to come up, Zay and Milkman nearly with their Milkman burns the evade there. And now there's still an open net, a surprisingly long open net point for an Inky Splash Zone map.
Yeah, you usually see the barriers going down pretty quick. We're almost in overtime, and again, a great primary there from Weston is able to defend things. Unfortunately, the barrier does go down in the end, not quite making it to overtime on that one, but Milkman is executed. Topo Fortress comes out not quite perfectly, but actually does get a really nice ricochet off of it. As we go into overtime now, it's going to be red coring all over the place. Zay finds the angle to the top, and it just was not expected. Twisty tried to use the barrage to keep it, but the patience from Zay was pretty good on that one.
I think somehow that just went above the barrage. Like, it looked like it was kind of through it, but maybe it was just above it. And now look at what they have available, right? I think they almost want to full open here for the Luna, right? Because the Luna can get Twin Drive, Glass Cannon, or ideally one of Deadeye or Extra Special, all of which are really disgusting. The Quick Strike, a really nice pickup as it allows Zay with Slick Kicks to dribble a lot more. And now look at this. Luna's guaranteed to get something good, and that's a Deadeye just available to her.
Yeah, you'll love to see it on the Luna. We do see the spec training on the Makos that in Snare Drums is going to hurt a lot. I almost would have liked to see a Glass Cannon there, although Weston is taking a fair bit of incidental hits, so maybe not the best one on it, but still spec training. We might see, when we see the red core off of there, we see a really early barrier as well. I mean, the extra size on the Dubu does counter the Among Titans, so Nicky Millen is going to be a little bit more oppressive on the play there, and of course the extra special, we've seen some really sick Giga Blast from Twisty on this one. So a few more definitely wouldn't hurt on that one. Nicky Millen low on health, but high in spirit as trying to fight in front of the goal there. Giga Blast not going to get the connection perfectly. Passing back from Weston through Twisty, but the barrage is not getting through.
Yeah, now Nicky Millen finally taken off the map, and the nuke making things very dangerous. This could be it. But no, it just gets passed around. They're just waiting for that cannon to come through, and a great boost whammy combo out by Josh there to secure the first point of set 5.
Yeah, the whammy dash out of Josh was pretty sick on that one, and it's kind of a checkmate because you can't go down the hyper, you can't go up to Zay, so you just kind of have to sit there and hope, but that's when Luna really just sends it right through, and speaking of sending it right through, Twisty, just on top of things.
Yeah, they just send it right through. I think they're just trying to clear down to where it's open, but Twisty, she's fast enough. She'll get there in time, and the net's just opening for her, so she gets to slot it in very cleanly.
Yeah, Toe Fortress, Giga Blast both going a little bit wild on that one, and Weston gets executed. Unfortunately, had to choose between the barrier and his life, and chose the barrier, as the goalie does. The barrage as well, not going to get a perfect clear, but will buy a lot more time. Nicki Minlin, great back clear there off the goal gate, as we see the somersault from Nicki Minlin buys a little bit of time, but Zay was patient enough on the core flip there. Twisty low on health, and will be taken out there by the Luna. We do have Nicki Minlin trying to get things done here on the bottom. Back pass from Josh to Zay up the top there. Primary from Weston comes out. Cratermaker as well forces a lot of energy. Josh with the core flip, not going to invest it just yet. Milkman as well playing very far up here. And the somersault is a little too slow. Josh is able to get it through. Nicki Minlin not able to get to the core in time. And HMG turning things around from being a set down to now being almost on game point.
Yeah, I mean, HMG, they were in it at the start, then they looked out of it, and oh my god, Josh finds another kill onto Twisty. This is just murder. And now Nicki Minlin, she's left to play in this corner. Still looking kind of alright, right? But this barrier, it's about to go down, but not if Weston and Nicki have something to say about it, right? The tried and true dog duo, they managed to save things for a little longer. And now with Twisty back out on the map, it looks kind of okay. A good evade there away from the Crater Maker. And with Twisty looking a little low, we could see a repeat of what happened before. Again, good saves out by Milkman, not having to burn this flip. And the boost, that means that this net is open. Very dangerous. Weston sidesteps the piercing shot, is able to save it. Now pops the drum and bass, lets his forwards fly, but there's still a barrier to chew through. And Milkman also has a flip, doesn't have to burn it there. And now this is honestly looking a little risky. Forces the flip out by Milkman. And now with this Crater Maker, Josh needs to be careful with his own life. A great clear out by Milkman. That buys so much space. And now the ensnare jumps, they makes things really risky. I think both of these teams are just going back and forth, and I'm honestly scared for who's going to win.
Be very close. That log could have taken it out, but Zay blocked it and will actually execute the Dubu on that one. Nicki Minlin off the field. It's a power play here for HMG. They could lock out the game right here, but Zay's flip is going to go wide. So does the last, though. Weston trying to hold it down with the primary. Will hit the core. Crystal Thorns gets it done, though. Zay puts it in. Well played by HMG. I do also say one thing we did miss there. Dubu, Nicki Minlin, actually saved herself with the Tofu Fortress. Was going to get taken up by the piercing shot a whole lot earlier. And just a really cool play on that one where you see the Tofu Fortress actually hit the wall right behind her and prevented her from getting knocked off. Did not mean much in the end, but did stall it out for a little bit longer. Kudos to HMG for taking game one, but it is also Inky's very weird maps. I think when we get to some more common ones, we might see a little bit of a different playstyle, because this was very hectic.
Yeah, but I think map 2 is actually going to be Gates of Obscura, and that Gates of Obscura will be Heavy Metal Gundam's map pick, because this Inky's was actually picked up by the Dog Slayers 3. So curious to see if dogs have some sort of adaptation, as I will say this was like a double midfield style comp, and you'll probably be seeing a lot less of that on Gates of Obscura. So maybe that's something that dogs actually just struggle against, and they might just be able to solve things just by the nature of the map itself.
Yeah, and I mean, when we did get to see the dogs play, they played really well. So if they can just stave off the kill pressure, you know, I don't want to dog on Twisty too much, but the Kai pick on the OIA start into the damage comp is not usually a recipe for success. Very difficult to play into that. And to be fair, Twisty played it really well, survived really long. But there's only so much you can do in the face of every ability in the game and the kitchen sink being dumped on your head every couple of seconds.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I think overall, core control wise, I think Dog is actually in a perfectly great spot. It's just the KOs that really messed them up that game one. Now, going over to this Gates of Obscura, I'm curious to see how they adapt, as we'll probably once again see some sort of lockdown goalie for Weston. Maybe we'll see something like the Finny or the Estelle to be a little more proactive with dealing with some of the KOs. Just KO them yourself instead. But for the side of Heavy Metal Gundam, I'm honestly curious to see what I'll see out of Josh, right? Because Josh is a player who tends to be pretty quiet, but he makes these quiet but big impacts. And we kind of saw that with a lot of these kills that he was finding with the Luna. He might pick up something like the Kai or the Now, or one of his own personal most played and, in my opinion, strongest picks, the Estelle.
Yeah, do have a lot of strong picks, and Estelle is pretty darn good. I mean, is one of those characters that you see kind of fluctuating a little bit at times. You know, was super weak for a while, but I've always stuck with the Estelle at the very least. Always been a fan favorite of mine. Always been a favorite of mine and fan favorite overall.
Yeah.
And I think Estelle, pretty good spot right now. So seeing it a lot more, and that's always fun because I think she does add a lot to the plays. You know, sometimes the combos are simple, you know, the strike primary, but some of the angles that she can hit and some of the checkmates she can have, especially with Rose Warp, are pretty sick. So we do see, though, it's going to be a quick strikes and the aerials, and it's going to be instantly the Asher ban followed by the Imi ban, which don't really synergize as much with those. I mean, of course, they're pretty good with them. But not my first thoughts. Usually I'd be thinking an X, especially with how strong he is. And then, of course, the Estelle you're talking about, potentially banning that out. But they're actually going to let the Estelle fall to the 2-3, and actually first pick, of all people, the Kazan on that one.
Yeah, I think this draft in and of itself, it's like the pure illustration of comfort, right? Because I think Asher might just be something that is really, really good on this map. That Dog just says, yeah, we don't want Twisty to play Asher. We're not really comfortable with that, so we're just gonna ban it out. And similarly, Heavy Metal Gundam saying, yeah, I don't think, you know, we can play this Imi on this map. You know, neither Trevor or Josh want to play it, so we're gonna ban that out as well. And then the Kazan, which is one of Twisty's tried and true picks, right? She is known for that. She is really good at it, and we do see the Kazan paired with Vice Atlas, and on the other side, it's just Dubu plus the Rastel combo.
Yeah. I will say, minus points for not canon comp. We were very close to having the Frostfire comp.
Yeah.
But still a pretty good combo. I mean, the Dubu, and this is one of those things we did see Nikki Minilin on the Dubu Ford last time. And of course, the teams are flipped, so this is on HMG's side, not Dog's side. But we could still see that Dubu on the forward, especially on Goo.
Hey, Rasmus goalie is real. I still think it's going to be Dubu goalie because of this map, but it's possible.
Yeah, it could go either way because you know, Rasmus forward, Rasmus goalie, Dubu forward, Dubu goalie. About the only thing I'd be surprised by, though, is if we saw somehow the Estelle goalie, because generally you favor the more melee goalies on this map having to hold them down. But we could see some crazy Dubu Rasmus forward with Estelle in the goal box as well. Would be fun to see. On the other side, though, unless we don't want to jinx it either, but we could see Kazan goalie, probably going to be the Atlas. And it'd be interesting to see what they pick up here. I imagine a lot of quick strikes going around. Maybe even on like the Vice instead of the aerials, although she does benefit from both the ranges on that one. I think about the only definite one is like quick strikes Kazan and aerials Estelle.
I don't even know. I actually think there's a real world. We just see quick strikes Estelle, right? Because quick strikes is quick strikes, and in a full quick strikes game, you really don't want to be striking slowly. And it looks like everyone but Weston seems to agree with me, as we have 5 quick strikes pickups. And same as last game, the only person going slick kicks here is Zay Forever, while everyone else is locking the Maxwells.
Yeah, we do see might not make as much of a difference, but we are going to see how they play around that, whether it's the midfield or the Korhagen. Nikki Milno is going to be the first one to pick up a barrier in this game, though. Zay Forever also taking a lot of damage off the start here. Nikki Milno self-teleporting to that little thing there, but it's going to be Zay picking up a kill here, finding the Kazan out of position on that one. As we see the portal pass there, just buying so much time, and Nikki sending it to the bottom, doesn't find the angle, does find the Supernova up to the top, and
oh my god,
Milkman own goals.
Yeah.
He did not find the corner angle he was looking for.
Yeah, apparently, okay, that works, sure. Not really what the Dogs were intending, but they'll be more than happy to let that slide. And I will say, on top of that, I do want to call it Weston's strike shot early on in the point, right? Because the side of HMG, they're trying to use that top portal to, you know, clear things out, but Weston just punishes them with that strike shot, and it's just so well played.
Yeah, really good strike shot usage there, especially with the aerials as well to make it go just a little bit further. Although, you know, aerials on Atlas, usually not the first pickup you think of, but it is also like the perfect range for his primary in some cases. So it is nice to see on that one. Zay very low, having to retreat means that Milkman is playing up. So we see a little bit of the Dubu forward and a little bit of the Rasmus goalie. Crystal Thorns is going to get a little bit of a clear, but no completion on it just yet. Supernova comes out to secure a barrier. Weston gets the portal pass there over to Twisty. Twisty trying to get something done as well, and it's going to be the Astral Projection with the help of the Vice as well to get that core in, and Dog takes a 2-0 lead here.
Yeah, Dog looking pretty good. This is the HMG map, and they got some really good picks on this map, but hey, maybe Dog just has that dog in them, and they know exactly what they're doing, and a great kill to open things up, and they don't even lose the barrier for it. Though Josh, he wants to say something about it. He's pushing up very aggressively. Now Milkman, a good clear attempt, but now it's just flipped in his face. No roll in time, and Nikki scores a 3-0 set for Dog.
Yeah, really well played there. And of course, one of those goals might have gone a little bit different, but, you know, I'm sure that HMG, they're a little more comfortable, a little more lackadaisical about it. They have the room for it. But that is also going to be a heavy impact device. Could even see a Stinger Vice, but is going to be a heavy impact. It's just too good to get that cooldown reduction, too good to get the damage on it. And Twin Drive on the Kazan, really good on him. Also denies it away from the Estelle, although also denies it away from the Atlas, so...
Yeah, I mean, idea is, you know, if you let that fall to Estelle, Estelle's just going to take it because Atlas is never allowed to get that Twin Drive, and might as well just take it for yourself instead of waiting. But that also means, right, that we're going to start seeing a point where Milkman, he has the Pauldrons, he has the demo, like, he is starting to size scale, and even if Twisty, she knows exactly how to play this Kazan, and she's very aware of the ranges, we're going to start seeing Milkman more consistently beat her out.
Yeah, it can be very difficult to go as the Kazan into just a massive goalie because you hook it away and then the goalie is the size of the hook. Also, Milkman waddling back. Unfortunately for him, though, the barrier does not fall. The core's a little too slow on that one. But Dash Protection sends it through, sends it almost into there, but the size on the Dubu is pretty nice. Crystal Thorns with the Whiplash countered by the Expanse. Josh with back passes. Actually very close to death here. Is going to be hooked off the map with crooked leverage. Kazan getting revenge against his boss on that one. Piercing Shot gets a double tap there, but doesn't quite get too much else as the double barrier goes the other way. And Dog looking to get a little bit more here. The Supernova held there for a little bit, does not get the kill, but gets a lot of damage onto this Dubu, who might have to play a little bit more safely. Weston is able to get the clear here with the Expanse, not quite confirming it, but does eventually get it forward there. Milkman going up to the top here. The Rose Warp is well used there, but Twisty just finds the angle to the top, and Tofu Fortress is a little bit too slow.
Yeah, I mean, I think Twisty just seems to have Milkman's number. Same thing with Nikki, honestly. Every time I just see Milkman losing so many interactions, and it's just Dog is playing that so well. Yeah,
the Whiplash is well coming out with Pendulum Swing, secure a barrier though, so HMG is looking to fight back a little bit, but they don't get too much. They get one barrier and trade half of their health bar on both the Estelle and the Rasmus for it. They're not quite able to get the second one either. Great defense there by the side of Dog as the portal pass goes to Nikki Minnow, and Supernova comes out to keep the core forward and does secure another barrier as well. Josh very low on health and is going to get kill flipped by Nikki Minnow as we have the core going forward into the side there, but does not go into the net there. But the offensive Soren angle on that one as we see the log go down to the bottom here. Death touch onto Nikki Millen does a little bit of damage, gets her out of position. Power Chord sends it backwards as well, so we're not getting the perfect connections. We're not getting it through like we need to here for the side of Dog, but Nikki Millen does get knocked towards the orb. Won't be able to pick it up, though, just for fear of being punished by the Estelle. And Weston, no, his goalie brain, he went out of position for the orb. No!
Yeah, all good. I think he thought he would get that flip safely to Nikki and then could just quickly orb and jump back to where he was, but unfortunately for him, Josh did catch that that flip out by Weston, and hey, that means that can't really be getting out of there, and now they're back in this corner. This is the portal corner, so it gets very easily cleared. Now it's just rotating again. Now this is the favorable spot for Dogs, but that one also gets surprisingly easily cleared there, but a good roll there out by Milkman, and we are back to 1-1 in terms of barriers.
Yeah, 1-1 on barriers, fairly even energy across the board. It's a little bit different here and there, but not too much advantage either way. Milkman, unfortunately, going to whiff the flip there after the Power Chord takes it up to the top. Zay Forever gets a Portal Pass Dutch to the Death Touch. Really actually nice on that one, but doesn't get too much done on it. Doesn't invest the special ability on that one. Twisty wins strike war in the midfield, but Josh does get a pass forward to Zay. The Expanse comes out as well. A lot of abilities used there. The Somersault and the Rose Orb both invested there. A bit of a miscommunication, waste of one of those abilities on that one. But clear is completed, so not too bad in the end. Pendulum Swing keeps it in the corner. Crystal Thorns as well. Whiplash trying to get it through, but isn't going to find too much there. Great clear by Weston as well. Goes all the way around that corner there. Piercing Shot does not find the connection either. Vice teleporting forward does not get there in time. Josh gets the intercept on it. Red coring, though, in overtime as the core speed has just picked up.
Yeah, and now that's no more secondary for Weston. A good strike war one there, and oh no, we're seeing Kazan activity, but no. Milkman does actually manage to save it there, but burns the Tofu Fortress, so that's really not good for the side of Heavy Metal Gundam. They try to get it down to this bottom side. A good death touch, but not good enough as it still doesn't hit that barrier, so they still have a barrier to chew through. Now Josh gets the pass up to Zay. We've seen this rotation out by them again and again, and this time it's successful. They take the barrier, and now pass down from Zay to Josh. They're trying to layer their abilities, but now it's Twisty basically in 1v1 against Milkman. Milkman wins out this time, and now a little dangerous to clear. A death touch this time, sniped out, passed out to Josh, and now it goes back down to Weston. The flip available for Nikki. Zay is just saying, okay, we need to take this through the Atlas, not the Vice with flip. And just tries to play it through this bottom side, but it's just not being found. The clears again and again. And HMG are just not finding their answer.
Ooh, the somersault though from the Dubu with the extra size is able to get that, but does pay for it with his life. Crystal Thorns singing it downwards. A lot of time bought here. Just a few more seconds till Dubu's back on the field. Twisty at the bottom with the core flip. Not going to be able to invest it in time. Didn't get the angle for it. Is very low on health as well. Is going to use that there. Almost gets the kill onto Zay with it, but does not get the goal nor the kill either. Atlas is trying to save Zay on that one. Somersault again on the goal line. Milkman just too clean with it, but the strike layering from Josh, and Milkman stops him from going in. Piercing shot as well. Crystal Thorns on the intercept as well. Crash projection gets it forward. Rose Warp gets it in.
Okay, you know, Milkman, I am sorry for everything I said about you in that previous point. You know, you had 2 clutch saves there with the roll. There is no way you do that twice. And, well, Josh as well, an insane way to end that point. Gets the strike around Weston into that Rose Warp to redirect it. And now HMG is in a really good spot for this set too.
Yeah, but there's also not much health left on this Estelle there. The Supernova comes out as well. A little bit too patient there from Nikki Minolin though. Tofu Fortress comes out as one barrier does go down on each team's side there. Tied up on there, but Josh has a low health bar. Remedied by an orb there for now at least. And not too many answers here, but there we go. Kazan trying to put damage on the Estelle, keep her low, potentially get her staggered very soon once again. But they really have to either focus on getting the core control or at least get the kill, but can't really do both of them. Josh really nimbly navigating that, but unfortunately does get hit by the hook in the end, and that is going to be a power play here for the side of Dog. They're not quite able to get it into the barrier as well. The strike clearing again from Zay and Milkman. Somersault as well with the whiplash to follow it up means the barrier will not fall, and instead Nikki Millen and Twisty might fall. And the barrier is actually going to go down. Weston not getting the perfect defense. There's going to be Vice going off the side of the map there. Great dodge from Zay is going to keep himself alive off the side of the map. A strike shot from Weston saves the core flip there for a little bit later. Twisty putting a lot of work and gets a great read off of Milkman there. Goes through the portal. Astral Projection goes a little bit too short on that one. Unfortunately, Hook interrupted by the somersault there as Pendulum Swing countered by a strike shot. Great counter on the piercing shot there from Weston. Hits a bit of a Soren angle there as well. Goes up and down and all around. Twisty moving forward. Almost has the core flip. Hits into the log though. It's red cores it across the map. Pendulum Swing, the whiplash. Piercing shot as well. Invested. Astral Projection gets it forward. Twisty dribbling in the middle of the map. Can he get it past the Milkman? Somersault and the strike with the log as well. It says no.
Yeah, I mean, very well played out of both sides here, right? Weston and Nikki, they're holding it so well on the defensive side. Milkman, though, he might have flubbed the flip there, so now the side of HMG, they've entered panic mode a little bit as they have a lot fewer resources. And Milkman, though, needs to be a little bit careful about the next crooked leverage. Good, well-timed clear once again. Now Josh, insane! A Rose Warp to redirect and gets the snipe onto Weston, killing him.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the exact play that Josh was going for. I think it was more of a Rose Warp into primary on the core, but hey, I'll just take killing the goalie and scoring anyways with the Rose Warp any day. And is rewarded with it, potentially stacks on stacks, prime time, even missile prop, orb dancer, so many good abilities here, and it's going to be the prime time, denies it away from the Kazan, from the Atlas. I think that's a really good pick.
Yeah, and this is just more size. I mean, yes, Kazan gets stacks on stacks. That is still very good, but even more size is so big for Dubu, right? Because yes, the Kazan being fast means you can rotate it around, but Dubu will just win every strike war now with 3 size effectively. But the prime time on Josh, right? The prime time on Josh is also very big.
Yeah, it is going to be a lot of abilities coming out of that. Unfortunately, the somersault from Milkman is not going to save the barrier there. The somersault, or the supernova there, sorry, does get a little bit of damage, but not too much else. Expanse very forward from Atlas. Weston trying to play a little bit more up. It's a very defensive goalie, this Atlas, but you can still play up. You can still affect the rest of the plays. And looking like he's going to have to do that a little bit more with just how rock solid the defense is here from HMG. But as soon as I say that, of course, a barrier goes down, the goal opens up. Crystal Thorns does not get the connection either. Weston trying to pass through the portal. We have a corner offense here once again. Barrier goes down here. Josh almost gets the connection onto the barrier, but not quite. The log keeps it forward a little bit longer, but not too much longer. And Josh, again, finding these angles to get it all the way around, but not quite into the net. Twisty in front, again, gonna miss the crooked leverage, unfortunately, as we see the core just hovering in front of HMG's goal for so long. Ash Projection gets it forward again. Somersault Tofu Fortress combo, not quite getting the kill onto the ice, but putting a lot of damage and some pressure, forcing Corporate out a little bit early. Rosewarp comes out as well. Nicky Millen very low, but dodges out of the way the pendulum swing nicely just by moving around it. And the Whiplash countered again from Twisty, just using a lot of different abilities on the Kazan there. Ash Projection just tags the Estelle once again. Somersault goes wide, and Twisty pulling the core into the net with the crooked leverage after the core flip. Really nicely done.
Yeah, and I think Josh, honestly, yes, you lost that point, but Josh is very happy as he was getting very, very low. So being allowed to keep this flip, pretty satisfied. So HMG in general, their energy is looking pretty good here. Our question is can they make any use of it as they're getting into this corner, right? A good flip there out by Weston, but now look at the energy situation altogether for the Dogs. It's really not good.
Yeah, not a single, well, there's now a single evade there on Nicky Minnell in there. Of course, you do at least have the Atlas ult, so you can do a little bit of saving, and they're actually able to buy a lot of time here and get at least some evades if they need them. Supernova is going to nicely be combo with Portal Pass from Atlas, and eventually, with the help of Twisty, is going to go through, but that's only one barrier down. Strike Shot goes a little bit wide, and Weston is playing forward with the Ash Protection as well. Use the secondary in the half field mark there, as we see Weston back on the defense here. Very premature dodge there, assuming that he's trying to get the read on a pendulum swing or a piercing shot there. But there's going to be no energy on this Atlas run. It really matters now. Josh very low on health as well. Dueling it out with Twisty here, as we just have very low HP. Unfortunately, Zay does not get the connection on that Death Touch pendulum swing he was looking for. Nicky Millen very patient against the log as well. Crooked Leverage takes the barrier as well. Nicky Millen is going to pick up the orb for the core flip, immediately use it, and Zay forever use the pendulum swing. Nicky Millen not patient enough on it. Supernova comes out as well, and that's going to be Estelle getting knocked into the corner there. Really great angle found by Twisty on that one. Tofu Fortress red cores it all over the place now up at the top. Pendulum swing actually sends it back through the portal, buys a lot more time. Death Touch as well. Zay forever is just not letting control go. The Strike Shot Ash Projection combo is great though, as we see Estelle finally back on the field. Expanse comes out, sends it through the portal. Josh gets the pickup, sends it forward. Power Cord gets it over to Twisty. Twisty gets it through the portal. Piercing Shot gets it up to the top. Twisty trying to get into the net, but Somersault is going to say no.
Yeah, but look at Twisty's health bar. Remember, she has full stack, so it's very dangerous, but now she's in a 1v1. No crooked leverage found there that time, and a good flip by Zay means that now the stacks are completely reset. But being only 1-0, there is a lot of time left in this set for her to build this back. Question is can HMG use this power play for anything else? And a good Death Touch by Zay Forever means that Josh is able to play on the top side without any issues.
Yeah, taking the score up to being tied 1-1 in sets and goals both. And with the energy advantage as well, with Milkman having that core flip still available, Supernova going to come out, do a little bit of damage, but there's not really too many damage awakenings on this fight. Well, actually, I say that. I mean, it's heavy impact missile prop. It just doesn't feel like it. There's not really much of a chance to stack the damage. Like, Kazan doesn't really have the damage to contribute either, so we see Nicky Middleton just trying to battle against the Titan of a Dubu that is about 4 times her size. As the Piercing Shot goes a little bit wide there, but the Piercing Shot, or the Power Cord actually gets a nice pickup on it. Weston, front of the net once again, using Ash Protection really nicely just to get it through that portal time and time again. Somersault sends Nicky Middleton towards the orb. Pendulum Swing Whiplash combo is actually a little bit too potent, knocks in Nicky Middleton too far away from the Pendulum Swing. Josh in the top corner here with the Piercing Shot is going to force out the core flip from the Atlas. Supernova as well is going to be used. It's actually going to be the core flip from Josh to get the goal.
I mean, very well played by Josh. I think, you know, the side of Dog may have been a little bamboozled there for a moment as it was just a lot of damage coming through by Josh, and suddenly he's all in there, all ready to core control.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams have been fantastic about rotating between killing and core control. They're doing it so seamlessly, but we do see another barrier going down there. Twisty kind of hitting it to a neutral, unfortunately, and actually Zay gets the pickup on it. Rosewarp Pendulum Swing not going to be enough either. Josh not taking the damage from these abilities, not actually getting hit by them, so not really much of a cost for this corner offense, as we see once again the Dogs kind of struggling to find their way to actually make this kill comp work with the Vice and the Kazan. The primary from Twisty was very close, but not quite enough to get it done. Great crooked leverage there, but it's a lot invested to just get it to the top side where it's going to go through the portal anyways. Nicki Minilin gets saved. Weston with the clutch save on that. Full heals Nicki Minilin off on that one. Of course, that is its specialty now. Not as good as regular healing, but on the save, it does heal a ton.
Oh, no!
Nicki Minilin, how could you? The miscommunication means that the barrier goes down, the goal is open, but hey, maybe that's their comfort zone. 2 points and a set. No barriers. This is where they begin to fight.
Yeah, very, very favored for Heavy Metal Gundam, and Milkman has the flip as well. A good Crystal Thorns there, and it's not even needed as Zay Forever, the Whiplash, sends it right past Weston. Very well played by Heavy Metal Gundam, and they're now 1 set away from taking the series 2-0.
Yeah, very close to it indeed. And yeah, Dogslayers, they've had a lot of great moments. They've shown that they have what it takes to go the distance in this, but in the end, it doesn't seem like as close of a game just because HMG is just shutting them down time and time again. They're just not letting them play to their strengths. And yeah, Atlas gets time as creator. It's going to be great on the defense. Really great way to just hold it down a little bit longer. But you look on the other side and it's size on the Rasmus, damage on the Dubu. Among Titans on the Estelle, so the Dubu's even bigger, the Estelle is even faster, and the Rasmus as well gets... I mean, this is kind of a lost draft just from that. It's so unfortunate for the side of Dog, but HMG just really gets what they want.
Yeah, I mean, now this Dubu is so brutal. Look at this Titan. And Zay Forever, he just gets to stack this Rampage bit by bit. Because, yeah, he's been taking a lot of damage, but it really hasn't been him who has been dying a lot, right? It's been more of Josh. And that's typically the way it goes, right? The midfielder is the one that interacts with the core the most, or the one that gets shot. Okay, never mind. I'm just wrong, I guess. All good.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing about that, though, is that Vice did not actually get the last touch on that, or a touch in the last few seconds of it, so does not actually get a prize fighter stack. And really, that's what I'm looking at to turn this game around. If the Vice gets some of those prize fighter stacks, get some actual power behind these percentage boosts, it's just going to scale so insanely well, but just not being able to get that is insane.
Yeah, it is so tough, right? They just have to find these well-timed kills, and another string of abilities burned there and no kill found, and now the side of HMG looking pretty good here. The Tofu Fortress there coming out to counter the Supernova. Bit of a Celestial Intervention there just in case anything goes awry. Good death touch there by Zay Forever, and once again, no kill found, and we are going into overtime, so we're going to see a lot of red cores, especially with the 1-2 punch coming out from this last draft.
Yeah, the 1-2 punch on the Kazan, of course, also very good, especially with that open prime rage immediately getting all that core speed on it. Josh very low on health, but still has the core flip, use the Crystal Thorns as well. Twisty trying to get the interrupt. Zay Forever not getting the pickup on it either. Piercing shot comes out as well. Dubu trying to pass it, but Thunder Strike comes through. Zay Forever dribbling on the bottom, Astral Protection gets it through. Corner offense not perfect from Zay, misses the opportunity to get the goal there. Nicki Minilin running forward with Supernova as well. Great intercept by Zay Forever on that one. Piercing shot gets it up to the top. We have Twisty getting the interrupt, getting the core flip, but the Tofu Fortress from Milkman is just perfect.
Yeah, I mean, so perfectly timed, and now another pass, and Nicki Minilin, she's the one who burns the flip there, but her health bar not looking great, but Twisty, she finds the barrier there, so it's actually looking okay, but oh no, the back pass nearly goes awry, goes up to the top side, and now Josh looking to score this here, burns the Rose Warp, tries to play through this middle, and now Strike Shot coming through, a little dangerous as Twisty finds the pop-up there, the log coming back through as well, and now the side of Dog, they're finding the clears they need, but maybe not for long enough, as Josh wins one interaction, wins two, just quickly strikes and finds these dribbles, but it just has to get back up to Zay. Zay's the one who almost has the flip, but Josh saves it, the Rose Warp, and it's looking so risky. Once again, Milkman finds it. This time the Tofu Fortress and Zay Forever, he has to just win this right here, and it just goes right past the Atlas. The Atlas dies as well. HMG pulling it out when we thought they had lost it the most.
I mean, Josh with an absolutely insane Rose Warp. I mean, he's been doing them all game long, but that one, Rose Warp into Soren angle with the red core, was absolutely perfect. If I don't see a clip on that one, I'm going to be very sad. But what a move that was. And of course, HMG does lose barrier off the first part of that play. Dog still in the fight on this one. Josh low on health picks up an orb, and we do see, you know, the core flip used from Josh just to survive. And we see another barrier going down. Zay Forever taking a little bit of damage as well, but it's just not finding the kills on the Vice. It's not finding exactly what Dog needs. So even though, yeah, they're advantaged right now, it doesn't feel like it. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of saw what Nikki was going for, right? She was just waiting for Zay to get in the corner, just holding all her abilities, sitting on top of him, and just face rolls. And when you're Erasmus in the corner trying to do offense, well, you're just going to find the kill. And very well played by the dogs there. Twisty is now also fully stacked up, so she is just going to be running around so fast.
Yeah, and we also have 2 prize fighter stacks on the Vice now, so that's a ton of damage going to be coming out from all of these abilities. We see Twisty low on health, but is going to live for now. Weston using ult a little bit too early there. Was just trying to get the save, but is not going to get the heal off of it. That's a lot of damage onto Zay from Nikki Minilin here. Potentially looking for a supernova pretty soon as well, but there's too much energy to speak of there. Josh almost dying just to the primary from Twisty there. Rosorp actually to follow. Great somersault, but a great dodge as well from Twisty means he's going to live for a little bit longer on this Kazan pick here, as the barrier just barely goes down off that angle. We have the Tofu Fortress coming out as well, and Zay evaded way too early. Nikki Minilin and Twisting hunting for blood against this Rasmus that has been just doing so well at living, doing so well at just getting the core around. But now Zay back at full HP. Twisty, and unfortunately Weston not able to save the barrier with the core flip there, but it goes up to Twisty and she puts it into the net. Milkman not large enough for that one.
Yeah, misplay there out by Zay, as I think even if he did go for the strike that goes and doesn't go through the portal, Weston can probably still send it through, but it would still be slightly better than what happened there, so really wanting to see a little more out by HMG, but once again, Twisty very fully stacked. She is going to be so fast. First barrier already falling, and I think dogs are pretty poised to take us to set 5.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential here for the dogs to come back in this. Of course, we have the stacks on the Kazan fully stacked. We have the stacks on the Vice getting stacked. We have a little bit of damage there on Zay, who no longer has any energy, and I'm seeing a kill coming in. The kill flip from Twisty executes Zay forever on that one. A double barrier as well found by Twisty. Weston playing up as well, pass up Nikki Minilin down into the Kazan, and down almost. There goes the Dubu. Another stack for the Vice. Another 2 stacks make it fully stacked on the Vice. Rasmus back on the field here. Kazan looking for the pass here from the portal, and will find the hook, forcing out the flip from Josh. That's all of the resources burned from the side of HMG, but Dubu's now back on the field. Can Nikki Minilin find it through? No. Zay does get the interrupt. It's Twisty down at the bottom here, and that's another kill onto the Dubu. The stacking on the Vice is complete. She can just kill people.
Yeah, I mean, Dubu had that Tofu Fortress coming up, but he was stuck in the middle of the animation, so Nikki Minilin, she's able to just collect the power chord kill, and she is rewarded for it. Curious to see what she picks up. The specialized training, a good reward, but oh, you have to deny that team player. Team player is just too good on an open map like Gates of Obscura.
It is way too good to just let it drop. There is a case to be made for just saying screw it and just going full damage, just saying, yeah, you can't use team player if you're not alive, but definitely agree with the pickup there. Peak performance on the Kazan, not very much damage, but is a lot of survivability and speed, which also contributes to that. So this is going to be a very fast Kazan, and we're going to see kind of a David versus Goliath, as we have the tiny, very fast Kazan versus a Milkman the size of the universe.
Yeah, but look at the damage that was also picked up this draft for the side of Heavy Metal Gundam, right? The spec training on the Rasmus, but most importantly, you get the Deadeye on this Estelle. So now this Estelle is actually going to start hurting when she gets a lot of these hard hits from far away. And Dubu also picking up the spec training is so big. You get so many more ults, which means you have to deal with so many less random plays, quote unquote, by the dogs there. And now the second barrier falling for both sides, a little awkward. Nearly slips on in, and oh my god, the spec training just able to pull Twisty completely across the map. A good celestial intervention by Weston means that she's able to live a little longer.
Yeah, great secondary as well, and that's going to be the Rasmus going off the field. I think Vice contributed to that one, so that's another stack for the side of, or for the Vice here. The backwards Tofu Fortress is really nice, but doesn't cover the top, and Twisty puts it in there. Dog is on a lot of momentum here, looking to take down HMG.
Yeah, somehow that gets through. I just feel like in that situation, it really shouldn't, especially if you commit the wall there. You should be able to deal with that top side, and now Nikki just charging that supernova, but the Tofu Fortress there to completely shut it out. And now Zay Forever needs to be a little bit careful. The way Nikki's posturing, she is absolutely looking for a kill, something like a power chord flip, or, you know, anything in terms of this damage. And now Josh, he's the one looking very low. And Nikki, she just wants to stack more prize fighter, but Josh, he's answering back with a good amount of damage himself. Pass up to Zay Forever. That's the first barrier taken. Now Josh is sitting in the middle of nowhere, just trying to live as best he can. Another prize fighter stack for Nikki, and she continues to be stacking.
Yeah, great kill flip angle on that one. Josh trying to run into the corner, doing anything to live, but not able to do so. Twisty low on health, though. Potential kill angle here for HMG if they can turn things around, but not going to quite go in. Josh trying to take Nicky Middleton out, reset those stacks back down to 1. Very close here, and I don't believe there's an ult on Atlas just yet, and that's going to be the Vice going down. Reset back to 1 stack. Still has the 1 at least, isn't a full down to 0 reset, but we do see the piercing shot employed there, not going to get a connection there. Weston got a really great clear down to the bottom of the primary from Twisty, buys a lot of time here. Milkman with a great clear, but better by Twisty, just going straight through there. The expanse as well from Weston, answering the disrespect on the direct core flip there, as Pendulum Swing sends it through. Well played by Josh and Save Forever just to get it in the forward position and send it in the middle.
Yeah, and I think for Dog, the saddest part about that was actually the sour spot Pendulum. It's the slowest it could have gone, and unfortunately it just slid barely right on through them. Now, one thing I do want to call is pretty much no one in this game has any sort of meaningful energy amount outside of Josh, so a lot of the damage that's going to come out on this next point is really going to stick. And now Milkman a little bit over pushed there. It does lose 1 barrier, but we'll have to see if Dog can convert more.
Yeah, do see Josh employing the piercing shot there, not quite able to get the barrier. That's going to be a kill found onto Josh there. Another stack for Nicky Middleton. The process resets once again. As we see Zay Forever, though, putting in the work in this power play, fighting back, getting a barrier to respond to the earlier one that was taken, almost getting another one there. Great ash prediction, though, from Weston. Will shut that down. Piercing shot employed, not going to be able to get the barrier there, not going to buy too much time. Crooked leverage from Twisty gets it away. 2 for Fortress, Pendulum Swing as well, Whiplash. So many really huge, though. Supernova comes out as well, does a ton of damage, as Zay Forever also went a little too early, and the power chord executes the Estelle. Thunderstrike as well comes down as Nicky Middleton 3 stacks on the Vice, has a core flip dribbling in front of the net there, and is just going to send it straight on through there. Power chord behind just for good measure.
Yeah, akin to how the previous point was, this one a little faster than the last one. Nicky Middleton finding her angle through as Dog Slayer's looking pretty good here. And once again, Nicky, she's back up to 3 prize fire stacks. Twisty, full stacks on stacks. She's going to be so fast. But they're just trying to get this kill onto Twisty as best as they can, but she's just not letting them.
A bit of a Dubu particle accelerator moment on that one, as it just goes straight through, phasing quantum physics style. As it's Zay Forever trying to run from the Vice, from the Twisty. Supernova is there as well. Unfortunately, Twisty's ult not quite able to find the connection there, but Weston does strike shot Zay Forever away just to get that orb, prevent the healing there. Does pick up the midfield orb there. Does also employ the Death Touch. Great Crystal Thorns from Josh means that the barrier is going to fall here, and we see the kill onto the Atlas, the goal from the Rasmus, and, I mean, it might be a set 5.5.
Yeah, it very well could be a set 5.5, and it definitely is. Atlas falling there, crucially for the side of Dog. It's not either of their members who had stacking awakenings, so there is at least that. But the Atlas going down there, that does mean there is a little bit of energy they lose, and now Josh teleporting up to this top side, wanting to continue an offense there. A little worried, just opts to flip there early. I think that's very respectable, but now doesn't have it for the next series of damage that will likely be coming out onto him. Now Zay Forever playing this bottom side, a lot of damage onto him, and I'm a little worried for his health at this point.
Yeah, also employed the Death Touch there, do a little bit of damage, but Twisty and Nicky Middleton taking a ton of damage here. Supernova comes out. Great dodge from Nicky Middleton, is able to save the life there and prevent losing the stacks there. Zay Forever taking a little bit of damage once again. Twisty and Nicky both a little bit more healed on this one. Toe Fortress comes out, going to red cord around, but Weston gets to clear down to the bottom. Whiplash from Zay Forever is not going to go through. The great defense there, great layering of strikes from Nicky and Weston on that one. Rose Orb comes out as well. Pendulum Swing secures 1 barrier here, the first of this point, as we almost approach overtime with a single barrier going down. Piercing shot doesn't get it through. Pass up to Zay Forever does not either. There's a Whiplash Pendulum Swing this time isn't going to find the connection, but the strike wheel down there, and this could be it. HMG could take the entire series if they just score this one last goal, and the piercing shot stuns up Weston. It goes through, and Zay Forever scores the final goal. HMG finally securing this one. Dog playing very well, but just not able to in the end.
Yeah, and Heavy Metal Gundam, they managed to pull out on top. It was looking so good for the Dogs. They had everything stacking. And unfortunately for them, a crucial hit stun there found by Josh ends it all. And a 31-minute game to cap the end of this series. That's a crazy one.
Yeah, really well played to all of the members in this game. I mean, so many incredible plays from every single person. It's so many different moments, so many clips. I'm sure there's at least 3 clips from every single player in this lobby. Just really well played. But in the end, as I always say, it's a game of orbs. and Milkman had 52 of them. Nothing more can be said.
Yeah. And hey, with that in mind, I'm very happy for both these teams. Unfortunately for Dog, they do fall down to 0-2, joining Polar Vortex there. And Heavy Metal Gundam, they're now up to 1-1. They're sitting in the middle of the pack with, I think, 5 other teams at the end of today. And I think their next week, or one of their future weeks, is going to be Polar Vortex, is sitting at 0-2. So I'm curious to see how both of these teams shape out for the rest of the season, because they're both teams that were playing in these, like in NASA and NAST previous seasons, and have finally got their shot at NASL.
Yeah, I think we saw a lot of phenomenal play from both these teams, both being shut out and shutting down their opponents at different times. I think if they just refine it a little bit more, then I think we can definitely see these teams in the playoffs playing really well, playing among the best of the teams in the league. And I think that they showcased a lot of good stuff today. A little bit rough around the edges at times, a couple of mistakes here, a couple of frangles there. But they are playing pretty well, playing a lot better than I can, playing a lot better than a lot of us can. And I think if they just keep getting better, keep improving, and throughout the course of the league, we'll be able to see that week to week. I'm really looking forward to seeing these teams.
Yeah, but this week is not over just yet. We do have one final game today. We have the Sad Boys versus Return to Form, one of which is actually going to end this week at 2-0 alongside the Rat Pack. So everyone stick around. Don't go anywhere. AJ, anything you want to say before we hop off?
It's been a pleasure. See y'all around.
See ya.